Every day we wait, they get stronger.
Let's take them by surprise.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's call it war.
Rogue One starts here with Andor, and we're talking about each episode of the Disney Plus original series on our show Going Rogue. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here to talk about another great episode of Andor. The show that is the show that I've constantly seen referred to as the one that's the best Star Wars show that nobody's watching.
Yeah, that's correct. At work today, quick side note, come into work today, I haven't been in there for a week because I've been sick, right? People are like, oh, you're up to date on House of Dragon, you know, all these shows that people are watching. I'm like, is anyone watching Andor? No one. Everyone's watching Lord of the Rings. Everyone's watching Game of Thrones, you know, like all these things. Anyone watching Andor? They're like, nah, not yet. I will though. I'm like, it's really good. They're like, oh yeah, that's good. I'm like, is the best Disney Plus show. And everyone's like, better than The Mandalorian? I'm like, way better than The Mandalorian. I'm like, everyone's like everyone's expecting it to be bad. I was like, yeah, so it is literally a show that's so good that no one is watching. It's crazy. So
it's like Better Call Saul.
You fucking piece of shit. This week's episode.
Something had to pick up the mantle, am I right?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Episode 7, Announcement, directed by Benjamin Caron, written by Stephen Schiff and Tony Gilroy. The synopsis of which was the repercussions of the Aldhani heist reach all the way to Coruscant while Cassian returns home. Ash, what do you think of this week's episode?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really intriguing episode. You know, obviously we've got, it feels like there's like 3 episode arcs, and this one feels like another kind of setup episode, but it's also, you know, definitely got the repercussions of the Aldhani heist being felt throughout our cast of characters. So yeah, I found it really enjoyable. Like, I think this is the most we've had with Mon Mothma so far, and like finally get to see why she's like the leader of the rebellion. You know, we also get some question marks around Luthen, and like, is he really a good guy? Is he really how involved in the actual rebellion as we know it is he? And yeah, I found it really interesting, and you know, I loved it until like the last 5 minutes where Cassian suddenly gets captured out of absolutely nowhere.
I mean, that's
it just felt like so disjointed from the rest of the episode.
I think I actually really liked it. This episode, for the most of it, of course, just like it feels like, oh yeah, we're just setting up, or like it feels like a transition episode between, of course, this show in general. I think is really interesting because we have 3 episodes that start the show, and all 3 of those episodes, I feel were really good to be released at once because it felt like a movie when you watched all 3 back to back. And then I really liked the pacing of the 3 episodes that followed, like the lead up to this amazing episode that was last week. And then this episode, yeah, it feels a lot more, you know, slow the pace down, like we're dealing with that. Of course, that all makes sense. It feels like this transitional episode. But then it sort of does a fake out at the end. You think the episode's ending, and then it cuts to Cassian sometime later, which I wasn't expecting because I thought the episode was literally like ending. It's like almost fade out. They're like, no, gotcha. We're on this planet now. Look, where the fuck are we? Cassian's like got a girl, you know, like it's like
it's very
you don't know how long it's been. It's purposely disjointed. Though.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the thing. It's supposed to sort of catch you off guard. It's a total fake out. I liked it though. I like the way it played out because it just shows how it's cause and effect is the thing. Like to jump to the end, like the reason that the woman literally says, well, for a start, obviously he's doing nothing. Like he's actually right. He's done nothing there that's wrong. He was literally heading to the shops.
He was literally walking.
Because that the girl or whatever says something. I can't remember what she asked for. She asked for something. He's like, oh yeah, I'll get it or whatever. So he's literally going to the shop, gets pulled up by old mate, gets accused of being with all these other, like it is the most like I don't know. It's not like stereotyping or whatever you want to call it, like profiling, I guess, or like just assuming he's part of the group or whatever. And then he gets taken to this court system, in quotation marks, to be put through. And the woman says this used to be a 6-month sentence. Why has it gone up? It's gone up because of what he did.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Everything throughout which ties into what Luthen and Mon Mothma talk about early in the episode about how they're going to tighten their grip now and all that sort of stuff, which we'll come back to that, of course, that conversation. But it is cause and effect that Cassian goes from getting fucked over and potentially getting fucked over into a 6-month sentence to getting fucked over into a 7-year or some like ridiculously high,
like 6 years.
Yeah,
I'm wait, he can't be in prison for 6 years.
No, he's obviously, we know he's not going to be in prison for 6 years, but he doesn't know. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Yes, something's going to happen there. So yeah, it's completely out of left field, but it's cause and effect. He's the cause of this. Bring it back to the start. It's so funny though that I remember last week saying, "Hey, where do you reckon Cassian's going to go next?" I have no idea. There's no way he goes back to see his mum because that would be idiotic. Little how silly I was. So how'd you feel about his like sort of return to speak to her, his conversation with, I'm sorry I forgot the character's name, but the girl and all that sort of stuff. Like how'd you feel about this?
I mean, it was fine. I mean,
yeah.
It was kind of, I mean, you know, it's good to see someone pay off their debts, but other than that, you know what I mean?
He's a Lannister.
Yeah. I mean, we did get confirmation that they used to be together, which kind of gave, I think really does actually give like reason why old Tim might have been super jealous, you know, because they actually did have a thing, and obviously that could be easily rekindled or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot there. I mean, it's weird that she's like hurt herself again, like because she obviously had like a black eye, and it seemed a bit random. Like
there's more. Yeah, I was about. I think
something unless it like she's being like attacked by the stormtroopers, whatever. Yeah, I mean, the most useful information out of that scene was like everybody hates you and blames you for, you know, the Imperials being here, so you better get off this planet.
Yeah.
So,
I thought his mum.
His mum was like the great. Like I love that.
Yeah.
Those scenes.
Also the highlight.
Yeah.
She's literally saying, "I've had enough. I'm putting my foot down."
Fiona Shaw's great. So
yeah, gonna finish it off. What was great?
Fiona Shaw. That's the actress.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Lord Droid's great again too. Very funny. Yeah. I like how when he comes back after seeing the other girl, and then walks in, and then we're not packing. He's like, "You don't look like you've packed yet." And he's just like, "We're not going." And then she's like, "Shut up." Like,
can I speak now? No.
Yeah, no. Poor Droid, but no, I thought all of those scenes were really good, and we finally get to see a flashback into seeing how Clem died. Yeah, well, presumably, like
he's caught in the crossfire, like after trying to stop the people like throwing rocks at the stormtroopers,
and then they hang him as a
warning.
As a warning to what will happen. Yeah, I presume that's what happened, right?
Yeah. I think you can gather from the series events and her description. And then just, you know, her talking about putting on her best coat and like going to that spot with a big smile on her face after hearing about the Aldhani heist. Andor not saying anything about it.
Consistently says those heroes that did that, those heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, again, a cause and effect, you know?
Yeah. But he just doesn't get it. Like it's funny. He'd done this thing for money, thinking that he'll have all this money, he'll come back, he'll get her, they'll go hide away somewhere else. It's great. He thinks that's why he was doing it. But like he didn't realize that
he was sparking. He was giving the spark of rebellion.
Yeah, he was giving the spark of rebellion because if that's how she feels, there's of course other people that are feeling that around the galaxy, which is the whole point. And I think that's exactly what Luthen wants out of it. Yeah. I don't think it was ever to do with the money. It was just it was the lifting of the veil. It was the symbolism of it all. It was, hey, people are fighting back. We can
people
do this
can
sort of
beat
thing.
The empire.
People can beat the empire, sort of thing. Yeah, which that's why this show's so good. I feel like it really understands the the rebellion side of like fighting against oppressors and all that sort of stuff that was built into Star Wars from day one within
And it's
a new
kind
hope.
of never been really addressed.
Not really in a good way outside of like
Rebels, I guess.
Rebels, yeah.
But
like, literally
that's only
outside of
because
Rebels.
it's called Rebels. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I love the line. Andor's like, she says to go somewhere and find your peace. He's like, I'll never find peace with you, not with me. He's just like, that's love. Can't do anything about it. It's like, yeah, that's actually.
she's just telling that how it is.
She is calling it how it is.
She's not fucking around. So.
And just straight up saying, don't stop looking for your sister. It's like,
yeah, so it's straight up like, yeah, that's another thing. Like, stop looking for your sister. None of it that happens your fault. She basically says it's a fucked up scenario, but you're gonna like do yourself crazy if you keep looking for her. She's not out there. You won't find her.
yeah.
Again, like just she's trying to help him. Like it sounds so mean, but she is trying to help him. Is the thing.
Man. So good. Just like, all of it. That whole section, fantastic.
It's funny because last week's episode, fantastic, like just this amazing action.
I think
thrilling
people
set
call
piece.
it one of the best episodes of television of the year.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely one of my, like, I almost wanted to watch it again. I reckon by the time this series finishes, I don't know if I'll loop back. Maybe I'll do those 3 episodes just to rewatch them and thing. But that episode, I like, is fucking. The more I thought about it, the more I was like, that is like sort of picture perfect. I feel like as far as TV episodes go, it was just amazing. And after we recorded, I was still thinking about it days later. So no, it's really fucking good. And I think it was taking me days to realize how good it was because of how soured I guess I'd been on Star Wars. Like somewhat over the last like few shows we've got. I'm like,
Boba Fett
it's
just
fine. Like
making you
whatever.
feel shitty
Even
best.
Obi-Wan, like, which I didn't love either. Like just everything being like, it was fine. Like, yeah, that like every now and then you'd would talk about something in these shows.
Some
Like that was a
moments would be
cool
cool,
scene or something like that. But I was just so down on everything and like just the lifelessness of it all. And this show's like really revigorating.
And yet nobody's watching it.
And no one's watching it. Because it has everything. It has everything that I feel like we're like fans are supposed to want out of the show. It has these amazing set pieces. It has this brilliant like special effects and everything like we got last week. But then it also has episodes like this, which is just these really deep and meaningful conversations and like character moments and like it's
Dylan,
it's
there is no
it's got everything.
lightsabers and force powers, which is what
I don't give a
the
fuck.
heads at Star Wars believe everybody wants.
That everyone wants. Yeah, fucking. Maybe it's true though. If no one's watching
And
it's like.
Taking children to other places, yes.
Yeah. If this show fails and then all we get is lightsabers and stuff, you know what? You did it. You're the cause. Because you didn't
People
watch
who
the
are
show.
not listening to this episode.
People who are not listening to that. That's true. Yeah. It's going to really annoy me if that's how it happens because this show is really, really, really good.
Nah, I think they'll get their full run. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, they've already said what they start shooting.
They're
season
already
2,
yeah.
or they're about.
They're too far
like,
gone to cancel.
I think they're in
but-
pre, or they're shooting. I don't remember, but where was I? Got lost. Who else should we talk about? Let's talk about old mate Cyril. Get a little bit more of him in this episode. He goes and obviously they're still teasing out this whole like he's seeing the thing on the news. I really like that conversation with his mum about raising of his collar and like what that means and all that sort of stuff.
Like, I'm a little bitch.
Yeah.
That's what
She's like, I see what you've
it's
done.
a brown suit.
Yeah. I like how he's like, and what does it mean, mother? Or what does it say? Or, like what, it's like, you fucking know why you're doing it. You wouldn't do it if you didn't know what it means. Like you're trying to, yeah, fucking little bitch. Then he goes and obviously gets a job at his uncle or whatever. I can't remember what the go. I can't remember exactly.
I don't know exactly what was happening with him. You know, he just got like it effectively wasn't like a middle management desk job.
He gets a desk job, yeah, like a Star Wars desk.
I don't even think he talked to his uncle. It's just
Well, no, because that guy wasn't him, but he talks about. They do mention the guy who is his uncle or friend or whatever, mum's friend or whatever the go is. They mention him, but that wasn't him. So
no, he's like, you should take this job because it's open. You know, you'd hate to miss this opportunity. So he just takes it because it's not necessarily the job that his uncle might have had in mind for him or whatever. But yeah, I
love the slow burn with Cyril though, because you know at some point something's going to happen with him. You know, at some point
go crazy and try and kill someone.
Yeah, you know something's going to happen, but I just appreciate that they're not rushing, like they're doing the slow burn because we got so much of him in those first 3 episodes. You know, you're like, he's out there being a crazy person, And then they're just playing ever since then the slow burn. I really quite appreciate it.
Old depressed mate, just eating cereal every day.
Yeah, well,
getting his blue milk.
Getting his blue milk. Yeah, it's good for you. Yeah, so.
We think
straight from the teat, you know, just the way Luke loves it. So you got Luthen and Mon Mothma in this again. One of the sort of central conversations in this whole episode, and such a good conversation. I feel. I don't. So you're saying earlier, do you think Luthen's is a good guy or whatever and all this? I don't. I feel like Luthen is simply like he is able to make the hard decisions and knows there's going to be some hard decisions to be made. Mon Mothma's not there, or she doesn't think they need to be made. Like she's like she had no idea he had this plan, and that's the whole thing. She's freaking out coming in again. Fuck, I love Stellan Skarsgard's ability to be facing one direction,
change on the drop of it.
He's like change on one. He'll be like, yeah, well, the Robo, so you know, rebellion. They've had us under their fingers so hard. Literally turns, raises that hand into that motion, raises a smile and everything. Oh, Mama, I thought you know. Oh, fuck, it's so good.
The driver's obviously looking in.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it. Yeah, they have that thing because he's just saying, I'm on his. I mean, I'm on his side. I don't feel like anything he said is wrong. He says I think the best line this episode, and I can't remember exactly beat for beat, is the one he says where we've been oppressed for so long that we can't feel their hands around our neck, or like some version of that. I was like, fuck, that's a good line. Because I feel like that's a real, again, like you could bring that line into so many real world scenarios and countries and, you know, like sort of situations. It feels like such a good line, and even of course for this scenario it's true. I like how he explains it. He says the Empire's been doing it slowly, you know, slowly tightening that grip. You get used to it. It's like you hold your hand, you put pressure on it, or you know, you try and like even choke it, anything like that, you get used to it. If you do something slowly, you're like, oh, I don't really feel it. It's like someone trying to hurt you fast. It's a thing. Like they're very slowly tightening that grip to the point. And I like that analogy of how like he said, because they're doing it so slow that they're growing accustomed to it, they're not even realizing it. So now the point is, and she's saying, oh, you know, the Empire, well, they're going to like close it now. They're going to tighten down. People are going to get hurt because of this. People are going to die because of this. And he says, yep, they will. But more or less we're saying, but like we're fighting back now. Yeah, they notice. Like they're
yeah, that's an interesting idea. Like people. They might be hitting people harder, but there's more likely to be people who are to their cause because of the sudden uptick in punishments and that kind of stuff. So yeah,
and just take what happens to Cassian at the end.
Big brain play, you know.
Yeah. Just think what happens to Cassian at the end. Think about that as a beat cop. Think about that as fucking New York cop on the street who's told, "Hey, you need to go out and make some arrests." You know, dirty cop just out there making arrests because it's ruled by, you know, a bad guy. Like the Emperor has literally said, Palpatine has said after everything has gone down, no, go I'm going to tighten my hand around the entire galaxy. You're going out there. We're fucking arresting. We're arresting people to send a message. Like Cassian does nothing wrong. He gets arrested. He gets 6-7 years for no reason. It's to send a message. And that's happening across the entire galaxy. It's not just Cassian. That's the thing. I think that's why I like that scene at the end, because you know it's not just him. You know, if it's happening to him, it's happening everywhere. You know, it's happening on every planet. And yes, people are going to jail, and some of those people get hurt, get killed, won't be able to get out of prison. But it's going to cause that uprising. It's going to stir that pot. So yeah, it's sort of a brutal realization, but I definitely I get what Luthen. I get why it needed to happen. I just think at this stage, Mon Mothma is not quite there, but we do get to see the dichotomy, I guess, of how these two people play out within the rebellion. When you have this scene with Luthen explaining like how he's like willing to do this sort of brutal awakening and play that whatever. Then you have the scene with Mon Mothma at the party where she's the sheep and wolf clothing political dictator sort of figure. Yeah, what do you make of that scene where she's I can't remember the character's name, but when she's talking to that friend from childhood,
talking to her old friend, like, think it was like really interesting. Obviously, her slowly letting her guard down and like letting this guy in on her biggest secret, just outright saying that like only 3 people in the entire galaxy know what she's about to tell him, and like him having an idea of him thinking that she is like pro-Empire, I guess, politically, like based on her actions in the Senate and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then like for her to kind of slowly reveal like, nah, it's all a front. I think, you know.
I like when he says, he's like, we probably shouldn't talk politics. I don't think you'd like what I'd have to say.
I might not be on the wrong end of the spectrum or whatever. It's just like having to smile the entire time and like put up a front. And obviously she's practiced at it and like, and very easy to do, whereas he's like struggling to like keep up appearances and that kind of stuff. So yeah. It's interesting because the whole thing a bit that she's trying to do is get her own family funds. So like, has her husband come in and like stopped her ability to take money out? Or what's the story there?
I'm not sure either. I was like, I'm not sure if I missed it.
Or is it her husband is like very wealthy and like that's why that she's staying with him? Like he's got like a
sugar daddy.
Yeah. Well, kind of, yeah.
I mean, could be. But yeah, I really like that scene, the conversation and just the slow sort of like chess-like maneuvers of the particular wording and conversation.
It's got to be rough with her teenage daughter as well, who clearly does not like her at all.
She's definitely pro-Empire, is what
she's like.
She's totally out there on Empire Day every year, like, yeah, Palpatine.
Yeah.
Our democracy is great. Yeah, I really like that. And then when her husband walks over, of course, just the slight whisper of like, smile now, we were just having a friendly chat, or, you know, like just, all that stuff really good. So, last character or group of people to talk about from this episode were the ISB, like, security meeting sort of stuff.
We got, who's it? From Vel and Cassian's Luther's assistant for a brief moment.
Oh, that's right. Yes, no, I forgot about that. No, you're right. Sorry, I forgot to write that down. Yes, you do get that brief scene. That I thought was
Vel is pretty much sent to go kill Cassian, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if she's going to try and take him out in prison, and that's like how that's going to play out or whatever. But yeah, I thought that was interesting because it also the way they sort of implied that Vel had been like sending too many messages or something, like freaking out or
she's
like
worried about her partner. Who
I'm glad we get to see after last week where I was like, what the fuck is she gonna do? She's doing exactly what she was told. She waited it out, pretended everything's fine, blah blah blah, got on a bike. She's fucking
went back to the base, but
went back to the base and stuff like that.
Just a heap more cruises and shit.
Yeah, so yes, I was glad they showed that between everything. I was like, how the fuck did she get off? Yeah, so we got what's the character's name? I'm trying to find it here quickly because I can never remember, but I cannot find it. I
don't think there is a name. It's just Luthen's assistant.
No, for the other people. I was
Val.
No. Dedra Miro. Yeah, this is one.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I never realized until the other day, and I saw someone pointed out, this actress, Denise Go, the voice of Yennefer in the Witcher game.
Oh.
So there's your, there you go. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. If you go on IMDb, that's her most known thing, Yennefer. So there's your little fun bit of trivia I didn't know until recently. I really like the stuff with her too, or the whole ISB sort of stuff. This really great conversation between a bunch of characters in a room, and much like a lot of conversations in this episode, very cat and mouse between people. You've got her sort of talking. Old mate thinks he's gonna fucking pull a 5D chess move and call her out in the middle of this meeting and say that she's doing all this stuff wrong. So and I just like how what's his face from fucking Game of Thrones or whatever, old mate, the leader dude, the head commander, whatever. I don't know his actual position title. It's not commander, probably it's something else, probably. But he, I just like how he lets it all sort of play out, and then eventually at the end just has that like slight line, like, "Yes, you're right. I feel like everyone would be much better if they were taking as much upon themselves or whatever to say about and all that stuff, and that fucking idiot who's living on the planet system and everything like that. I was like, I was happy to see him get his shit. But yeah, what do you think of all this, the way all this sort of stuff played out?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Obviously, Deidre's playing the game now after being kind of told off to be a bit more subtle. Obviously, she uses the newfound power that the IBS has gotten in the wake of the attack, which is, again, cause and effect, ripple effects, to, get what she wants, and she's just trying to piece this whole rebellion kind of together, trying to see the bigger picture. Even she says, like, outright towards the start of the episode, like, she's against these, like, changes that they're about to make because, it's an announcement of, the rebellion wanting to begin and stuff. I found it really interesting. Definitely a side of the Empire that we don't ever see. And, like, the guy name drops Emperor Palpatine at one point, which feels kind of weird in this series.
I don't know. I feel like it's not a name drop, though. It's just like it felt natural to me. Like, that's the leader. It's like saying the president's name. Like, if you
I guess
the president now.
It's like but this series feels so removed from everything Skywalker saga that bringing up the Empire feels a little bit weird. But yeah, I found she won. I don't know what her overall goals are, but
she's doing. I'm not rooting for her really, but she's interesting to watch because like ultimately she's probably going to be the one to find our heroes and undo them, sort of thing. But like she's, as far as the Empire is concerned, she's actually we know she's onto the right thing. We know that she's like
she's like the detective who's tracking down like the fugitive that we're really on board with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, it's interesting to watch and go, you're right, lady, but don't really want you to win. But,
stop getting things right. Yeah.
Yeah. One last quick shout out. So this was something that I guess hardcore Star Wars fans noticed straight away, as this episode had its first ever cameo tie-in, something that I didn't think this show would do, and they'd previously talked about how it wasn't going to be a cameo show like the older of ones that we get on Disney Plus. Not a big one, but it was cool to see. So you get Colonel Wolf Yularen show up, give his whole speech to the ISB and all the troopers or whatever, and that cool moment there. The announcement, I guess, maybe that's what the actual announcement is he gives. The character is not really known from the movies, is more known from Clone Wars and even Rebels. Was in A New Hope as a background character. Was never given a name or anything like that until maybe a toy or so it's one of those characters who only got a name when they got a figure or a card or something. They never had a name in the movie, but the character was in the Clone Wars quite a bit, and even Rebels, and he was like good friends with Anakin Skywalker, and he was very much like he was on the good side and everything like that. And of course you never get to see his thing. I've seen people already, like I've read a few threads and stuff because people are like, man, I love this character in Clone Wars because he was in it a fair bit. Really loved him and his relationship with Anakin and stuff like that. How come he's a bad guy? I'm like, I don't think he realizes he is a bad guy.
He's just going along with the government. The government. Yeah, he's going along with the government. Change.
He thought he was on the right side, and he, like a lot of other people, at least in my headcanon, he got told the Jedi's betrayed us all, because that's the story. The Jedi's betrayed everyone. They tried to take power. And in my headcanon, he's got really sad about it. And he had to go through a period where he was upset because he was like such good friends with the Jedi's, but he's ultimately accepted and he thinks he's on the good guy team. Like that's the thing with some Star Wars characters, like really good Star Wars things. And most of the like all my favorite Star Wars books and like series and stuff like that, and even this, like it does a good job at showing that yes, there are people on the Empire side that you view them as bad guys, and they can be, but not all of them actually even like aware they're on the bad side is the thing. So but yeah, that was a fun little, it's hard to say cameo because I don't feel like he's such a random niche character that most people wouldn't even notice. It's the mustache that gives it away for people. Like, how do you recognize this character? It's the mustache. But it's also a random cameo that makes perfect sense for that character to be there. Like he's a perfect level within the Empire to do that sort of speech and be a fun little cameo, I guess, at the same time. So it's the only cameo. It took 6 episodes for the show to do a cameo.
I mean, we also got K2SO bots.
No, I don't think that counts though.
I mean, yeah, it's not the same character, but obviously it's
Yeah, but I feel like if you're gonna count,
it's
them
kind
as
of messed
cameos,
up. Like this bot.
That fucking thing chokes absolutely living fuck out of him. But I'm not count. I don't count those
because it's
droids
not
as cameos.
K2SO.
No, but and also I'd actually prefer to see them a bit more in things because it seems dumb when they introduce them in Rogue One. Where have we seen them? You see them in Rogue One, you see them in the fucking Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order video game, and they're in some of the comics and stuff like that, but they're in nothing else. So I'd actually like to see them, if they're going to do some more stuff around this time period, just chuck them randomly in the background. Because now that you've introduced them and be like, yeah, they were around everywhere. Didn't you see them? I'm like, no, I didn't. That's the point.
They're on different planets. They're on planets without sand.
Yeah, okay. I guess that must be what the rule is, yeah. I didn't realize. But there you go.
With water.
That's a very nice looking planet. With that Cassian.
It is like the beach planet.
It is a really nice looking planet. So, I love the music that starts to. But the music in this show is fucking phenomenal. It's so good.
Star Wars like, yeah.
It's so good though.
Yeah.
Like that, I think that tracking shot where it's like going on the one side of the wall and he's walking on the other, and it's like whatever. There was like I was like, fuck, the music's good. Like it is so non-Star Wars, but it really works for this show, and in general, it's just really good. So, yeah, this show's really good. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Please subscribe to this podcast feed. Of course, Holocron Entries, that's what you listen to, where all our Star Wars shows get posted, including The Mandalorians, The Very Bad Batch, and whatever else. We'll be talking about soon the Trials, whatever it's called, Trials of the Jedi, whatever. No, what's it called? Oh, I can't even remember. Tales of the Jedi, sorry, Tales of the Jedi. So I'm so unamused because I'm just like, my mind's like, yeah, I'm sure it'll be okay. Ahsoka's in it, cool. Fucking need more Andor in my life. Follow all of our Twitters, explosionnetwork.com/Twitter, and join our Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord, to come talk to us about Star Wars and any of those places. And if you like this episode and want to tell us and help support the show, head on over to explosionnetwork.com/support to donate as little as $1 or set up monthly recurring payment. We love that. Until next week, keep on rebelling.